Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into some a really powerful material.
Yeah, it gets right to the heart of things, doesn't it?
It really does. This fundamental idea that our thoughts, well, they aren't just watching reality
No,
happen.
they're actively shaping it, building it almost.
Exactly. Architects of it. That's a good way to put it.
And the material makes a really strong case.
Right.
It argues that if you want to change your life,
Yeah.
the most effective place to start isn't out there trying to force things.
Right.
It's inward. It's looking at your own thoughts first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And our mission here really is to pull out the core concepts from this
The
material.
big aha moments.
Yeah, the stuff about how powerful thoughts really are and turn it into insights you can actually, use.
Get practical. Move past the theory and into how it works for you.
Right.
And speaking of how it works, there was that statistic up front in the source material that just, wow.
Oh, you mean the sheer volume of thoughts? 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day.
Insane, isn't it? But that wasn't even the kicker for me.
What
The
was?
part where it says up to 90% of them are repetitive. The same thoughts, over and over.
Wow. Okay, think about that. If most of what's going on in your head is just replay, replay, replay,
Exactly. And if those replays, those thought loops aren't actually helping you,
then you're just stuck, spinning your wheels in the same pattern.
which perfectly tees up the core premise we found, right?
Hmm.
If your thoughts limit you, your life will likely feel limited too.
Yeah, the material is crystal clear. Thoughts are the starting point, the origin.
They're the root. Definitely not just background noise. The argument is thoughts create feelings.
Feelings drive actions, habits.
Habits become beliefs. Beliefs shape behavior.
And that whole cascade starting with just one thought that determines your destiny, essentially.
It's a profound chain reaction. Really makes you think.
It immediately reminded me of that Marcus Aurelius quote the source includes.
Well, yeah, the one about the soul.
The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts.
Perfect way to put it. If your mind is full of fear or doubt or negativity,
Then that's the color your inner world takes on.
and your outer world reflects that. So when you consider the sheer number of thoughts and how many are repetitive,
It makes total sense why paying attention to that color, that dominant thought pattern, is so crucial.
you're constantly deepening grooves, either helpful ones or ones that hold you back.
Which brings us nicely to the how, the actual mechanism. The source breaks down this cycle really clearly.
Yeah, the thought, feeling, behavior, result loop.
Simple, but powerful.
Incredibly. It shows how fast one little thought can ripple outwards and, show up in your actual life.
And the negative example they gave was so clear. Like if you have the thought, I'm not good enough.
Right, that one thought.
Yeah.
What does it do?
It sparks feelings like insecurity, anxiety, maybe fear of messing up.
Totally. And those feelings, they dictate how you act, or rather, don't act.
Yeah, you hold back, you hesitate, play it safe, maybe procrastinate on something important.
Exactly. And the result of playing small.
Well, you probably don't get the outcome you wanted. You miss the mark, maybe fail, or just don't shine.
Which then just proves the original thought right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
See, I knew I wasn't good enough.
Whew. Yeah, a classic self-fulfilling prophecy, all powered by that initial thought.
But, and this is the empowering part, you can break that cycle
Ow.
by intervening right at the start. At the thought level,
Yeah.
the source contrasts that negative loop with a positive one.
Okay, so imagine starting with a different thought, like, I am capable, or I have what it takes.
That simple shift,
Yeah.
it generates completely different feelings.
Yeah, like confidence, empowerment, maybe even excitement.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
those feelings fuel totally different actions.
You step up, you speak out, you take the risk, you tackle the challenge.
Getting to results that confirm that thought. You succeed, you prove you're capable, you get positive reinforcements.
And the positive loop reinforces itself. Wow, I am
A
capable.
leverage point is always that first thought. That's where the power lies.
And often these cycles, especially the negative ones, are kind of running on autopilot, aren't they?
Yeah, driven by what the source calls limiting beliefs. These background scripts we barely notice.
So practically, how do we even spot these scripts? They can be sneaky.
Well, the first step the material suggests is just awareness. Simple, but not always easy.
How do you build that awareness?
Ask yourself, where do I feel stuck? Where's the friction in my life? What keeps coming up?
Okay.
Then try to trace that stuck feeling, that frustration, back. What's the underlying story I'm telling myself here?
Like those examples they used. If money's always a stressor, maybe the hidden belief is there's never enough.
Exactly. Or if relationships are hard, maybe it's people always leave or I'm not lovable. Find the narrative
Got it. So you find the story, then what? Just knowing it isn't enough, right?
Right. The next crucial step is to challenge it. Really question it.
Cow.
Ask, is this belief absolutely true?
Right.
Like 100%, no exceptions. Probably not. And where did it even come from? Was it really my conclusion or did I pick it up somewhere? From family, school, culture.
Ah, okay. Questioning the origin.
Yeah. And maybe the most powerful question. Who would I be without this thought weighing me down?
Ooh, that's a good one. That creates some space,
It really does. It loosens the grip. And then you can start the reprogramming work.
which involves tools like affirmations, journaling. What else?
Visualization, meditation. The source mentions several. But it really highlights journaling the opposite belief.
So if the belief is, I'm not worthy,
You deliberately write every day, I am deeply worthy of love and success, or something similar that resonates.
it's not just wishful thinking then.
No, it's actively laying down new tracks in your mind,
Yeah.
building a different framework.
Which ties right into the science bit, doesn't it? Neuroplasticity.
Exactly. This is the really hopeful part. Our brains aren't fixed. They're not set in stone.
Thank goodness for that.
Right. The brain is constantly changing, forming new connections based on what we repeat. Thoughts, feelings, actions.
The source had that great analogy, thoughts like grooves on a record.
Yeah. The more you play the same thought, I'm bad with money, I always mess up presentations, the deeper that groove gets.
It becomes the default pathway, easy for the brain to slip into.
And this is the key point of neuroplasticity, you can carve new grooves.
By intentionally thinking different thoughts.
Consistently, yes. By directing your focus to a new belief, like I'm learning to manage money well, or I'm getting better at speaking up.
You're physically rewiring your brain, building new neural pathways.
Literally, creating stronger connections for the thoughts you want to have.
And the source makes it clear this works at any age, right?
Absolutely. The brain stays plastic. All it takes is willingness and consistent effort.
Okay, so if we're constantly creating grooves, we need to be mindful of what we're carving.
Which brings us to mental hygiene. I loved how the material framed that.
Yeah, like brushing your teeth, but for your mind. A daily thing, a thought detox.
It's not just a one-off fix. It's ongoing maintenance, isn't it?
For sure. And those questions the source suggested for this daily check-in seemed really practical.
Yeah, like asking, okay, what's one thought I've been chewing on today that maybe I should just let go of?
Is this thought I'm holding on to right now actually helping me? Or is it kind of sabotaging my efforts?
And this one really hit me. Whose voice is this anyway?
Ah, yeah. Recognizing that a limiting belief might not even be yours originally.
Right. Maybe it's your mom's fear about security or some teacher's old comment that stuck.
Realizing that it's an adopted thought, not your own truth, that feels powerful.
It gives you permission to say, nope, that's not mine anymore, and consciously choose a different thought that feels authentic.
So you've got the daily cleanup, but what about catching thoughts in the heat of the moment? That feels like the next level.
That's what the source calls the ninja level, yeah. Thought discipline in real time.
Huh. Ninja level. I like that.
It takes more moment-to-moment awareness, becoming the observer of your own mind, really.
And the goal isn't to stop negative thoughts completely, because that seems impossible.
Exactly. The source is clear. Disempowering thoughts will pop up. You can't prevent them entirely.
So the skill is,
Catching it,
oh,
noticing it before you automatically buy into it and let it drag you down that old familiar path of feeling bad and acting accordingly.
like the example. You think, oh man, I'll never get this job.
Instead of just accepting that and feeling defeated, you pause. You notice the thought.
And then,
You deliberately redirect. You might say to yourself, okay, that's one possibility, sure. But what if I do get it? What if I'm actually a great fit? What can I do right now to increase my chances?
so it's not about fighting the thought, but about not letting it take the driver's seat.
Precisely. Interrupting its automatic power. Like mental martial arts, block and redirect.
And this isn't just theory. The source shared some real-life examples of this working.
Yeah, that personal story was compelling. Being stuck in that corporate job they hated.
Driven by that belief, security is better than passion. A common one.
A very common one. And then consciously, deliberately working to change that belief.
To what?
To passion creates its own security, shifting that internal foundation.
And that shift was the catalyst.
Apparently so. It gave them the courage to leave the job, take the leap, and build a business doing something they actually loved.
Wow. And they mentioned seeing similar things with clients, too.
Yeah, people healing from trauma, starting businesses, leaving bad relationships,
Mm.
all stemming from changing their internal stories.
It really drives home the point that the outer change follows the inner shift.
Validates the whole approach, really. Start with the thought.
Okay, another tool the source emphasized was visualization, calling it an underutilized superpower.
Totally. And it explained the why behind it, which I found fascinating.
How does it work?
When you visualize something you want vividly, with emotion, using all your senses, your brain kind of starts to treat it as if it's already real.
Oh, interesting. So it doesn't distinguish much between vividly imagined and actually experienced.
Apparently not, if the visualization is strong enough. And this creates, what was the term? Cognitive dissonance.
Meaning?
Meaning there's a gap. Your brain has this strong internal picture of success or health or whatever you visualized.
But your current reality doesn't match yet.
Right. And that mismatch creates this internal tension, this drive to make the outer world align with the inner vision.
So it nudges you into action.
Yeah, it prompts questions like, okay, if that's my future, who do I need to be now? What would that future self do today?
Like athletes visualizing the win, they're programming themselves for it.
Exactly. Programming the subconscious to expect success and act accordingly.
And that connects to affirmations too and our internal self-talk. The source had a point about those though.
Ah, yes, the believability factor. Crucial.
You can't just repeat something your brain completely rejects,
Yeah.
right? Like, I am a millionaire when you're struggling to pay rent.
Right. That can actually backfire, create more resistance. Your brain's like, yeah, right.
It needs to feel at least somewhat plausible, which is where bridge thoughts come in.
Exactly. The source suggests starting with something that feels like a step in the right direction, something you can believe.
So instead of, I am perfectly healthy if you're sick,
Maybe something like, I am taking positive steps for my health every day, or my body knows how to heal, or I'm open to feeling better.
things that feel more accessible, less jarring.
Yeah, they build momentum without triggering that internal liar, liar alarm.
And with affirmations like visualization, the key is emotion.
Absolutely. Don't just say the words like a robot. Feel the truth of them or the possibility of them as you say them. That emotional charge is what helps rewrite the pathways.
Okay, so we've covered a lot, the foundation, the cycle, the science, the tools. How does the source suggest we actually start doing this?
It wraps up nicely with 3 really concrete, practical steps you can start, like today.
Good. Actionable takeaways. What's step one?
Awareness. Simple, but foundational. Spend just 5 minutes today noticing your thoughts.
Just observing.
Yeah. What's the general theme? What thoughts keep popping up? The source even suggests jotting them down. Might be eye-opening.
Okay, 5 minutes of awareness. Step two.
Reframe. Pick one negative or limiting thought you noticed. Just one.
And
Consciously flip it. Turn it into an empowering version.
okay.
And then this is the active part. Say that new empowering thought out loud 10 times.
10 times. Why out loud?
Adds another layer of reinforcement maybe.
Yeah.
Engages more senses. It's about deliberate repetition to build that new pathway.
Got it. Awareness, reframe. What's step three?
Visualize. Spend just 2 or 3 minutes picturing your best future self.
The version of you living the life you want.
Exactly. See it clearly. Feel the positive emotions associated with it, the joy, the confidence, the peace, whatever it is. Really immerse yourself in that feeling for a few minutes.
Awareness, reframe, visualize. Simple enough to start.
Definitely. 3 small steps to begin flexing those mental muscles.
And for anyone listening who wants to go deeper into this, the source material itself mentions some resources.
Yeah, it pointed to a book called Rewire to Rise,
Okay.
and also an Instagram account at Ryan Rewire and a website, ryanschiff.com. Just passing along what was mentioned in the material we reviewed.
Good to know. So, wrapping this all up, the big message here from this source material seems incredibly hopeful, actually.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's that your thoughts, they aren't just these random things happening to you.
Right. They're tools, powerful tools that are actively shaping your reality, whether you realize it or not.
And the really transformative piece is that you're not stuck with the thoughts you currently have. You're not just a passenger,
You can be the driver.
or maybe the observer, the editor, the director. You have the ability to manage your internal world,
To become aware of the thoughts that aren't serving you.
challenge them.
And consciously choose and cultivate different ones, thoughts that empower you.
And by doing that, you can genuinely change your experience of life and the results you see.
So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with, building on all this. If your current reality is, in large part, a reflection of the thoughts you've been consistently thinking up until now, just imagine the kind of future reality you could start building intentionally by choosing your thoughts differently, starting today, right now.
It really does all begin inside, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Maybe try those 3 steps today. See what starts to shift.